The what I really want to talk about is like the Panama Canal.
Oh, bro, Panama fucking Canal. Oh shit. All right. We'll talk about Panama Canal.
So bro, Panama Canal.
This is the weirdest shit, man.
Tell me about it.
I did some research, and I kind of go like balls deep into this shit when I'm looking at it, and I started looking into Panama Canal.
Yeah.
The freakiest freaking shit in the history of mankind. Yeah. Like, I'm talking about they literally created a fucking country to make the goddamn canal. And it's just the most ridiculous shit ever. So this is what happened. I'm going to give you a short story. There's a long story. France was trying to dig the canal for a long time.
Okay. Because
they thought this would be a good trade route. So there was this guy who just famously created the Suez Canal, which is up in Africa. The same guy, he's like, look, I can create a canal. I'm the fucking boss. So he decided to go dig a canal in Panama. Americans weren't involved at this time, right? So the French fucking start doing their digging and all this shit, and years go by, and they're losing men like shit because there's malaria, people getting bit by snakes, and like getting killed. The weather is terrible. It just didn't work out because they were trying to dig the canal traditionally.
Yeah.
So his lead engineer comes to him and tells him, hey, I got an idea. We're getting so tired of trying to dig this shit down. Why don't we bring the ocean up? Pour the water so we're like kind of cover the canal. And the guy was like, that's stupid. He's just like, get the fuck out. So he just fires the guy, right? So this happened, and eventually France gave up. France was like, look, we're running out of money. We're running out of guys. We're done. We're not going to dig this shit anymore. This is a cursed land, so be it. So France leaves it, abandons it. And there is this French guy, he's a businessman, and he has an idea because his investment into this canal, this guy put a lot of money into this canal thinking that this will actually become something.
Yeah.
So dude is like, he needs his money back. He's like, fuck this, I'm going to get my money back, right? So this guy goes out to Panama. He takes a ship and sails into Panama. And he's like, hey, like, I'm the French man. I'm going to help you guys build this shit. And they're like, really? They just look at him like really, like just wait and see. So during this same time, America was really eager to build a canal as well because this was very trade-wise a very important thing to do, infrastructure and stuff like that. So originally, America was trying to build a canal in a country called Nicaragua, which is a little bit north of Panama, and Nicaragua has this massive lake in a southeastern part of the country. There's a massive lake. Southwestern part of the country, and they were going to use that lake and make it part of the canal so that they don't have to dig much because there's already a body of water. So they're just going to dig in through the Pacific side and come out through the Atlantic. So that was the American plan. French were doing the Panama. America saw it, and they're like, look, French, they can't do it. So then this French guy goes out there and he's like, look, I got this, right? So this is what he does. This is the most bizarre shit. He goes to Nicaragua and grabs a stamp of the country. Back in the days, they had the postal stamps. In the postal stamps, they had a picture of a volcano because there's a famous volcano. Just happens to be right next to the lake that the Americans were surveying because they were going to build a canal through that lake. Well, there's a volcano nearby. American knew about it, but they were kind of like, oh, whatever, we can work through it. But then this guy finds a postal stamp that has a picture of this volcano erupting. And he brings it to America, the French guy. And he goes to the American Senate and he's like, hey, I know you guys are trying to build canal in Nicaragua in this lake, but look at this. They have a massive volcano right next to it. So if something happens, you're going down to shit. So the senators in America look at it and they're like, they see the stamp. They're like, look, they even have it in their stamp. This is a propaganda as shit.
Wow.
So the senators and all of them, they're like, oh shit, he's valid. It's a valid point. What if, we spend millions of dollars and build a canal and then it just blows up with a volcano? So they're like, In the meantime, he goes back to Panama and he tells them, hey, look, I'm cooking up a deal for you guys. You guys got to chill out. Let me be like your power of attorney, basically. Like, like I can... make me like in charge. So back then, Panama wasn't a country. This was like a colony style within a country of Colombia. So it was part of Colombia. Panama wasn't a separate country. This is like area of Colombia, right? So he goes to this Panamanian people and say, hey, look, Colombia has been your like boss forever. You know what I'm saying? You guys deserve a small country of yourself, beautiful country. How about that? And then people are like, that's a great idea. Well, I'll help you get that. Don't worry, I got you. Just let me get this canal deal done, and we got you. So then he comes back to America and meets with no other than Teddy Roosevelt. Teddy Roosevelt is an American president who really liked war. Like, Teddy was a real... I mean, he is a very, like, considered one of the greatest presidents, but also he dude had his own ways. And Teddy liked this backroom deals, on handshake deals, pulling the arms, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So the guy comes and say, "Hey, Teddy, I got an idea." And Teddy said, "What?" The French guy said, "Look, we already got a canal that French has already started digging. So we're kind of already did the quarter of the work for you guys already. We just abandoned and left. Why don't you guys go in there and dig the canal?" And Teddy said, "Colombia would never allow that because that's a Colombian territory."
Yeah.
And the French guy said, "Don't worry, I got you." So he goes back to Panama and said, "Hey, look, America's on board. Now we're going to give you guys arms, start a rebellion. You're going to fight against the Colombian government, and you're going to ask for your separate country." And they're like, but we don't have an army." "Well, you don't need one because America is going to send the army." Sure enough, Teddy sends the American ships and just parks them right outside Nicaragua and Panama and Colombia and Pacific.
Wow.
And Colombians start an uprising. Right?
When did this happen?
1800s, late 1800s,
Late
early
1800s.
1900s.
Wow.
Or it is early 1900s.
Where they had those big ass ships with the cannons.
Yes, they have the big ships. So Teddy sends all this Navy, U.S. Navy, and surrounds the coastline of Colombia. And that's when the Panamanians start the uprising. So now all of a sudden, the Colombian government, they can't squish the Panamanians because you got U.S. Navy sitting there eyeing them. So they're like, "Oh shit, we're screwed. All right, you know what? Fuck it. Have your country. Take it. So the Colombia gives it to Panamanians, and now Panama is their own country. Little they knew, this French guy who was their power of attorney, like the main dude, he's already made a deal with Americans saying that America can come build a canal, but America will own that property. Panamanians would have never agreed to that shit.
Wow.
But this French guy made this backroom deal with Teddy and did all this shit.
Who's Teddy again?
Teddy Roosevelt is American president.
Right.
The crazy guy that loves war.
Okay.
Right? Anyways, so Teddy parks the Navy, squishes Colombia, gives Panamanian their own country, so they can build a wall and own that piece of land that were not build a wall, sorry, they build a canal when then located where and the whole land they have it, right? So they're like, shit, okay, cool. That's how America ended up owning that piece of land. And Jimmy Carter gave it back, which was like a whatever. There's a own street to that, but that's how the Panama Canal was made. Was a crooked political deal by a vested businessman that just didn't want to lose his investment, and he went around and did all this crazy propaganda to sway American senators to abandon the plan to build a canal in Nicaragua and turn it down to Panama. This is the weirdest, like the craziest thing. They literally created a country and created an uprising and everything just to build that freaking canal.